Harlequin Special Edition and HarlequinAudio present The Perfect Pass by Teri Wilson, performed by Stacy Gonzalez. Dear reader, welcome to Bishop Falls, Texas, home of the legendary Bishop Bulldogs, the second best high school football team in the Lone Star State. If you love football, this book is for you. If you loathe football, this book is also for you. In fact, if you're not the biggest sports fan, you definitely have something in common with Calla Dunne, the heroine of this story. Like everyone else in Bishop Falls, the Dunne family has always lived and breathed football. But after tragedy strikes, Calla has had enough. Now she positively hates the sport, which is a major problem, since her job is writing about the Bulldogs for the local newspaper, the Lone Star Gazette. Jackson Knight, star tight end for the Chicago Cyclones, has never heard of the Bulldogs. But they've certainly heard of him. After he reluctantly signs on as the high school's temporary head coach, they roll out the red carpet the instant he arrives, complete with a parade and a press conference. It seems Jackson's plan to lie low and hide in the one-horse town until both his knee and his image are all patched up is going to be more challenging than he thought, especially when he crosses paths with a local sports reporter, who's clearly the only person in Texas immune to his famous charm. I hope you enjoy The Perfect Pass, the first book in my new series, Texas Forever After. Happy reading! Teri. This one's for the Swifties, and anyone who ever had full hearts for Coach Eric Taylor. XOXO. Chapter 1. Jackson Knight really needed to start paying more attention to the fine print. In his defense, he had people for that sort of thing. He had his manager, his lawyer, his publicist, and, perhaps most important of all, he had his agent. Notably, his agent was the only one who'd stayed by Jackson's side during the recent hullabaloo, hence her superior ranking in the pecking order. Technically, Jackson didn't have people anymore. He had a person, singular. But Jackson didn't care to think about that. Besides, the point was that top-rated NFL players rarely took the time to read their own contracts. They rarely took the time to do their own laundry or make their own protein shakes either, two indignities that Jackson was prepared to handle on his own, now that he'd been banished. But this? Jackson regarded the snuffling beast at his feet, who'd just been introduced to him as Bishop, the team mascot of Bishop Falls High School. That sounded fine, although he was a bit surprised to hear that a high school football team had a mascot that was a live animal, instead of a nerdy underclassman donning a furry mascot suit that reeked of sweat and mothballs. But the Bishop Bulldogs were ranked number 2 in the entire Lone Star State, so a little excess was to be expected. Again, fine. What wasn't fine was the way the school's principal had just shoved the dog's leash at Jackson, and his casual reference to mascot caretaking as part of Jackson's responsibilities as the new head coach of the Bishop Bulldogs. "I'm sorry." Jackson shook his head. Boy, am I sorry. In fact, he didn't think he'd ever been quite this sorry in his life, which was really saying something, considering all the apologizing he'd been doing lately. "What did you just say?" The principal, a harried-looking man with bushy salt-and-pepper eyebrows and an emerald-green polyester blazer straining at its brass buttons, eyed Jackson up and down. His expression said he'd rather be following Bishop around the practice field with a plastic poo bag than interacting with Jackson in any way, shape, or form. Not a sports fan. Jackson's ordinarily laid-back smile was growing more strained by the second. Understood. "Bishop lives with the head coach." "It's tradition," the principal said. As if that explained everything.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?